Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is yours, Dave. I got online special guest, top fuel dragster driver, Terry McMillen. How you doing, Terry?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How about you? Having a good day?
Yeah, I'm having a great day. The weather's beautiful over here in Illinois, so yeah, it's beautiful.
Fabulous, man. I tell you, we're in Sonoma, California right now, getting ready to kick off the weekend, and man, it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. It's probably 60 at 8 o'clock at night when we make Q2, and and probably in the mid 70s when we make Q1. So it's going to be exciting and fast day.
Awesome. So how's the year been going so far for you with the dragster?
It's going really well. We're having a good year. We struggle a little bit in Denver. That's just because we really don't have a Denver setup. We don't know how to run without oxygen in the air. So, you go to Denver, you're in trouble when the birds are hitchhiking, because there's no air to lift them up to fly. So it's kind of the same scenario for the car, so it doesn't want to breathe. So we struggle a little bit in Denver, but we're looking to redeem ourselves here in Sonoma and throughout the rest of the year now to keep us in the top 10 and go for the countdown.
Awesome. So let me go back some years, Terry. When did you first get into drag racing? What got you into drag racing?
I bought a car when I had a paper route in Illinois and Chicago, and I delivered papers after school, and then there was this guy that had a 32 Ford with 392 Hemi with two 4 barrels sitting on a trailer. And, man, I got off the bike every day and just let him know that I wanted that car. And, time went by, and about 6-8 months later, he said, "Hey, kid, come in here," and he said, "You know what, I agree. I'm going to sell you this car. Here's what I want for it. Here's the payment terms that I want for it." And he said, "The car is yours." And so that's all I needed to hear. And I got another paper route a couple weeks later, so I delivered papers in the morning before school and after school. And got that bad boy home and started playing with it. And I was almost 16 when I went to US 30 and made my first pass in it, which was just an incredible feat, and I've never looked back since.
So after that car, what'd you start racing in?
I left that car. I had a front motor Dragster for a while, and then I went right to a nitro funny car, campaigned that in the IH-Ray side until they dropped the, nitro funny car, and then I converted it to an alcohol car, ran that for quite a few years, and then I fielded an alcohol car and a fuel car in IH-Ray, and then as IH-Ray kind of disbanded some of the pro categories, we started looking into the NHRA side, and so we picked 6 races that we were going to try that year to see if we can qualify, and we did qualify, because it's pretty scary, man. You come over here, these guys got money and more crew chiefs than I got toes, It's coming over here was really cool to do, but really trying, when you look at all the powerhouses, the Schumachers and the Colettas and all those guys that you're coming to battle with. But, we held our own. We had some really rough years, but, I just stayed with my favorite saying that persistence outweighs resistance, and we're going to get this figured out. We're going to go down here, and we're going to make it happen, and, thank God we did.
So now with this current dragster you drive, what's been the quickest DT you've had with it?
Well, we went 369 with a 2 at 330 miles an hour.
Awesome. Now, are you looking to get this thing up to 300 miles per hour?
Yeah, we went 330. I think here at sea level, 330, 331 should be pretty much commonplace, just because we're in really rich air, and I don't think it's going to be overly warm. So I think it's going to give us an opportunity to run some big numbers to everybody.
Yeah. So what are the sponsors you have for your dragster?
Well, Amley Motor Oil is my major sponsor. I've actually been with Amley Motor Oil for over 20 years. Just renewed for 4 more years. So, I'm really, really fortunate. I believe at this point in time, I have the longest running, most running marketing program out there. So that's my big player. But then I have, Mark and Flat Out Gaskets out of Mundelein, Illinois, Motor State, Lane Automotive, All-Star Performance Parts, Ross Pistons, Genius Tools. I've been blessed with some great people that stuck with me through thick and thin. So, to continue to go out there and represent them and them, feeling confident enough to let me go out there and do what we do, man, I'm the most blessed guy in the world.
Now, who are all your crew members that keep this dragster at top notch?
I mean, I know from all over. I mean, the probably the coolest part is that the person that puts my clutch in and out of the car is a young lady who is probably definitely one of the best out here putting the clutch in and out of a fuel car and setting it up. She does a great job, and then Chris, my car chief, does a great job with just overseeing the operation. And then you got my right head and left head cylinder guys. They do a fabulous job, and so it's just it just takes a team to just kind of gel together. You got to look at it this way: that we're in Vegas, we won that race as well. So I mean, Rob Willen's done a great job, and certainly a great team leader to the crew to keep the quality and the performance of the car in the best performing way to make it good on the track. So it's pretty awesome.
Now, after all these years of doing drag racing, Terry, what still keeps you passionate about doing this?
I mean, it's failure, man. I'm scared to death of failure. I don't like to fail, and when I started this program, it's like I knew I was going up against people that had a lot more money than I, and still to this day run on bigger budgets than we do, but we run smart, and that's because of Rob Willen and my team. We're not parts changers. We'll rebuild whatever we got to fix to make it work. Excuse me. So with that being said, that's what makes us dangerous to the competition.
So now, what goes into preparation to get this dragster ready for a weekend?
Today we had the car out and we serviced it, had it checked. We re-sticked the supercharger, serviced all the heads from Denver, converted the camshafts back over to where they need to be for sea level conditions, and then just get that. It's not really just drag racing. You have to find your passion. You have to be passionate about what you want, and understand that failure is not an option. While some days you may run into the same wall 50 times, one of these days you're going to look past that wall or down that wall. You're going to find out there's a doorway, and then you're going to walk right on the other side of that wall, and good things happen. It's not easy. It's definitely not an easy program to get involved. It takes a lot of money to run these cars. It takes great people to run these cars. But if you're persistent, you can have anything in life. I don't care what it is. You just got to be passionate about it. If it's your passion, you'll find a way to make it work, and that's kind of what we've done. And as a single car team, it's definitely been a long, hard road. But I don't know what else I do. I mean, I'm terrible at golf. I like to fish and stuff like that. But realistically, there's nothing that gives me the thrill, the excitement to go out there and do my job, and certainly represent our marketing partners. And to me, at the end of the day, while I'm blessed to be able to drive the car, it's all about taking care of my partners. And that's the thing, that if someone gives you 10 cents, then you got to figure out how to give them 15 cents back so that they're making money on the investment they gave you. And if you can always build your marketing program along that guideline, you can be successful real easy.
That's a very good concept. So now, Terry, when you first got into drag racing, were there any drivers out there that were like heroes to you back in the day?
Oh, for sure. You got to look at Garlitz, you got to look at Prudhomme, some of the greats, and then Bernstein and all those that, have been the pioneer of our sport. They've come out here and set the records, lifted the bar higher and higher every year. But it's a whole new regime today. Where these cars are running quicker now in 1,000 foot than they've ever did in a quarter mile, and we're sitting on top of 300 miles an hour at the 8th mile anymore, and so it's just the evolution of our sport has just been phenomenal, and you gotta say thank you to the Garlits and the Snakes, and the John Forsters and all that, who have really set the tone for our sport, and kept the bar up there so that there's always a new carrot to chase, and I'm all about that.
Now, what was the experience like for you the first time getting behind the wheel of a top fuel dragster?
Well, it wasn't so bad to get in a dragster, other than because I drove a nitro funny car before that, and so it wasn't as bad of a transition. The worst part for me is that coming out of a funny car, when the funny car would make a move, you would snap the wheel really quick and really hard, from one side to the other, trying to get it to go straight. When you get in a Dragster, I can tell you that don't work because the Dragster is more of a finesse car. While you still got to stay with it and can never be behind the car steering wheel, and have the car way out in front of you and your mind is still back on the starting line. You got to be with it. The Dragster needs more of a finesse because it's much longer, and so the moves aren't as harsh, but sometimes it can be more often.
Now, what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
Certainly, Bristol's always been my favorite track. I think because that's where I got my top fuel license and my funny car, and then Sonoma is gorgeous, man. I'm sitting up here looking down at the racetrack, the road course, the drag strip, seeing all the cars down there, and looking down into a valley, and it's just amazing. It just makes you realize that our sport is alive and doing very, very well. Looking at all the competitors out here, and those are probably my two favorites. Certainly, Chicago is awesome. I mean, it's in my backyard, and so any of those are probably the premier tracks for me.
All right. Now, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions?
No, I don't have any superstitions. The only thing I do is I do everything the same. It's kind of like a checklist. I put my right hand glove on first. I put my right hand shoe on first, and I don't know what the process is and why I do that, other than I've done it all my life, and it's kind of like, okay, you're getting ready to do that, and then that way when you get on the car, you just turn the switch on as driver now, and just everything's in place. So you just try to find consistency in what you do. I don't wear green underwear or anything like that. Maybe I should. Maybe I'd win more. I don't know. But the fact is that, the only way I go out there and approach it is just doing the same thing I do every day so that it's the same, routine, and then that way nothing gets forgotten.
So now, what would you consider to be the milestones of your drag racing career so far?
Certainly, the first win was in Las Vegas the week that I married Corey, and so that was a really, really special day and time, because it was just all the events that just happened and the way things fell together was amazing. But certainly, the biggest win, is the U.S. Nationals. That's something that you're etched in stone.
What's been the fondest memory of your whole drag racing career?
The fondest moment, it's kind of really hard for me. I'm all about the business side of it, and that's what I work at. So I think the fondest moments are, the day that I was able to secure Emily as a marketing partner, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever believe it would last 20 years or 24 years, when we're probably done, and we'll probably renew after that. But it's just, I think that is probably the biggest milestone for me, just because it's what it takes, and to be associated with such a great company this many years means we're doing our job, and that's just that's rewarding to me, is knowing that we're doing everything we can to our best possible ability.
Now, have you had any accidents or close calls throughout your career?
Yeah, I wrecked a car in Houston. We were going down the track racing Schumacher. We were side by side coming up to the light, and there was a bump in the track. And when we hit that bump, it busted up an intake rocker arm and leveled the motor, sent blower, and blower flew up in the air and traveled, I don't know how far, but got into a vortex, and then the intake manifold separated. We were doing some testing with a two-piece intake manifold, and that separated, and then it came into the rear tire, knocked the tire off, and I knew Tony was over there somewhere, so the only thing I could do was just kind of ride it out and drive it towards the wall, try to get it against the wall so that, I didn't get in front of him, because at that point in time I didn't know where he was at. So that was, for me, the safest thing to do rather than going barrel rolling down the track. But the one thing that was the coolest part about all that is that, if there was a cool part, is that, I had these weld wheels on there, and it's a one-piece billet wheel, and when that thing had impact with the wall, all it did was push the rim in, and that tire to this day still has air in it. That's how awesome that tire was, and that's what saved this thing from being a terrible wreck, is because typically on those type of wheels, they're a three-piece wheel, it pushes the center out, and the tire goes, and then the car's end over end, or barrel rolling, and so that weld wheel just saved my butt, and that's all I got to say about it. It was just an amazing feat for the wheel.
Wow, that's incredible. So I'm going to ask you a few fun questions here before we close out. You ready for a few fun questions, Terry?
Sure, man.
Outside of drag racing, what are your hobbies? I know fishing, you said one of them. What? Any others?
Say that again. I got cut out on me.
I said outside of drag racing, what kind of hobbies you have? I know you said fishing is one of your hobbies.
Yeah. I mean, when I am home, it takes me a long time, but I like to build street rods. I have a 41 Willys supercharged gasser that's streetable, runs 8.25 mile. I have my son and I, before he passed away, we were building a 67 Nova. I finally finished that car up, and they took it. I wasn't there. I went one day, but anyway, some friends of mine took it to the World of Wheels in Detroit, won first place with that. So I really like playing with cars and doing things. It's just unfortunate that it takes me a long time to get anything done because we're only home a couple of days at a time. I love to fish and enjoy time with my family. I mean, I think that's probably the most precious thing there is to spend time with my wife and my son Cameron and go out and just explore the world like we're able to do. And it's just a lot of fun. This Monday coming up after Sonoma, we rented boats, so the whole team we're going boating, jet skiing, and pontooning, cooking food on the lake for the whole entire day. Just those type of moments, that you're going to look back and say, man, that was just a lot of fun, and it's in the heart of the Western Swing, and it was just a great way to blow off some energy and just cruise, have fun, and so it's those things there that value.
No, do you have a greatest competitor in Top Fuel Dragster?
Do I have not really. I mean, when I line up in the other lane, man, I don't really care who's over there. I just want to win. So I mean, I have a lot of great friends. I don't really have anything that other than like maybe Tony Schumacher at one time seemed like every time I raced him, I could never beat him. And then finally, we started getting our share of wins, and so I think he was the kryptonite perhaps at one point in time. But since then, we figured out how to win, and that's been the difference.
So how many Wallies have you won?
Just 2, not enough. I want 2 more yet this year. So I mean, I think 3 or 4, but right now, I mean, we're just a small team, man, just trying to make it happen, and we need to get in the countdown, and we need to go into the countdown really strong, and I think we can run with anybody. We've proven it. We've proven that there's not one car out here that we can't outrun on any given day. So, we just have to stay focused on the big picture, and that's, making the countdown, and then, coming out of the box at the countdown at the right time, and just go out there and try to finish this thing off.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
I would have started the Top Fuel earlier. I mean, I grew up through sportsman ranks and all that, and I mean, it's just it's something I've always loved. Just never really knew or had the tools to get the marketing partners to come on board. And so, it took me a lot of years just to figure out what we had to do and how to approach people. And then, like I said, I'm the most blessed person in the world with Amley Motor Oil because there's nobody out there that's got what we got right now.
Now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment that stands out in your mind of a time on the track?
Most embarrassing moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, we had a major explosion back in Charlotte a few years ago. And, leveled the car. I got out of the car. I was mad. Said I was going to quit. And I walked back to the pits. And that was probably it. I just kind of threw a little bit of a fit down there, and that's probably it for me because I'm not normally that guy. But, I had just reached the saturation point of trauma with the car. And, it was shortly thereafter that we changed direction of crew chiefs and stuff like that and turned this program around. So while it was the most embarrassing embarrassing moment because that's not how I act. It's just the competitive side coming out.
All right. Couple more questions, Terry. What's your favorite food to eat?
What favorite food?
Yeah, your favorite food to eat.
Oh man, Italian. Anything Italian.
Now, does Corey cook?
Does Corey cook?
Yeah.
Now let me tell you what Corey's really, really good at. She can pick up the phone and make the hellacious reservations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she can burn water on the stove.
That's funny. All right. So, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Favorite beverage, I honestly I drink a lot of water. I mean, I like a Coors Light occasionally, like a soda occasionally, but I can drink a case of water a day.
All right. What's Terry McMillen's favorite music to listen to?
Anything rock and roll, Nickelback, Rolling Stones. I love all the high energy, motivating type music. I'm not a country guy because everything you had in country always comes back to you and haunts you. So I stay away from that for the most part, but I love rock and roll.
Awesome. What you have a favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Probably Top Gun. There's a guy that just, struggled and then just realized how to come back out of it and make it work out, as a movie. So it was kind of refreshing.
Now, when you're at the track, do you eat regularly or do you eat very light?
I don't eat at all during the day. When we're done running, that's when I eat. So I eat one meal a day on race day, just because it's like, all that G and all that. You just don't want all that stuff coming up, sitting in your throat when you're driving. So I just wait till the end of the day, just pound a bunch of water down, and then when we're done, though, man, I'm the first one in line to eat. I can promise you that.
All right, now, for people listening that want to follow you, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Best way to follow me is TerryMcMillen.com or Terry McMillen Racing on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm Terry McMillen all over the place. But I'm the drag racing one. I'm not the author.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, I want to thank you very much for doing the interview.
I appreciate it. Great job doing an interview. You did an awesome job. Good questions.
Now, do you have any final words or thank yous you want to do before you close out?
Yeah, I mean, I just want a couple things, man. I said, this sport would be nothing without the fans. When we're out there, we're out there to win races. That's internally for the team and all that. But the fans, they come out here first thing in the morning and they stay here to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, watching drag racings. And my hat's off to them for doing that because they are what makes the sport. When I made the decision to quit racing in Charlotte that day, what actually turned it all around was the fans coming up to me at the end and saying, you know what, man, we really appreciate you being here and we want your autograph and all that. And it made me realize that, we end up becoming a lot of role models to a lot of people out there, or people that, want to work towards having what you have, and asking for guidance and things like that. So I think that's the key for that area. And then certainly I can't go without thanking, Amway Motor Oil, Genius Tools, Flat Out Gaskets, and Molly, and everybody that's just supported us over the years because, without them, Motor State Performance and All-Star Performance, I wouldn't have nothing. I mean, it's like we don't have the budget, and so what happens or what makes it work out is that, we have enough other supporters to make it all come together. So, other than that, I just want to say thanks to everybody, the fans, and hey, we'll just see you at the races.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck with this weekend's racing and the rest of the season, too.
I appreciate it very much, and you have a great evening.
You too. Thanks again, Terry.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.